if you have a service, some sort of agency, some sort of coaching program, or just a simple skill that you can teach, then you could already be making a lot of money directly from YouTube with a very small channel, zero ad revenue, and essentially no monetization. So in this video, I'm going to show you the exact model that turns your skill, your agency, your coaching program, your service directly into money for you and for your business. The first thing, as I said in the intro, is you need to have something to sell. Now, that could be any sort of service that you are providing, that could be a skill, that could be some sort of coaching that you are giving. Maybe you have experience in a certain realm or expertise somewhere. It could be some sort of agency model that you are running. Essentially, you just have something that people are going to buy online. And by the way, a skill, you're probably thinking here, you have to make someone a certain amount of money. A skill could be something as simple as cooking, right? It could be, maybe you're a really good cook. It doesn't even have to be a skill. Maybe you just know how to read and take a lot of information from books, or you could start some sort of reading, class or community. How we spell community. So the whole point of this is you have to have something that people are actually going to pay. I don't know what I've just done there. You have to have something that people are actually going to, as I mentioned already, I don't know why I keep doing an R, something that people will pay for. And once you have that, then you're good to start YouTube essentially. But what I will say is, whilst you might think that people will pay for it, you have to essentially know that people will pay for it. So you can either do this by either, number one, having some proof that you have done it yourself, or proof of someone else doing it. Now, if you do not have proof of yourself doing it, you need to be very, and I mean very, very skilled at what you do. I would not recommend anyone that is half skilled or not incredibly good at what they do to come on, right? Because as soon as you don't have proof, people are just going to put incredible amounts of doubt on exactly what you do. But if you then say, I don't want to want because I've helped XYZ person do it, then it's instant proof. So as I mentioned, it has to be something that people are actually willing to pay for. So an important note from this is that if your offer or service or skill, whatever it is unclear or unproven, then sort that out first. Number one thing is essentially, as I said, to just have something that you can sell, right? And not just something you can sell, but something that people will actually pay for. And then once you have that, then you can move on to what will work on YouTube. But if you do not have this, then I can't really help you. And by the way, and I didn't really mention that this doesn't essentially have to be something that people are winning. If you are really good at, let's say, a game, right, you can already start here. Maybe you could teach people, how to actually play this game, right? There's so many ways that you can go, right? It could be as simple as even a sport, right? You're really good at a sport, so you're going to teach people how to play that sport. Or maybe, right, you have a lot of experience in that realm of sport. Let's go with football specifically, soccer, right? And you're teaching people all the different ways that they can get into football. Maybe they're not good enough to go into football, so they could go into coaching football. They can go into scouting, right? And within coaching, maybe they can go coach kids, right? Let's not make that weird. Maybe they can go. Maybe they want to coach, professional teams, and you essentially show these people how they can get to these desired goals, right? So there's multiple elements of where you can go. Now, if you do not have something that you know that you can actively sell, I'd recommend for you to just go away and think about it. Think about what you're good at. Think about what you spend your day doing. Think about what, if someone was to come to advice with you or something, what could it be? Again, this could literally be like, again, relationships, right? There's people that sell, lots of people that sell relationship courses and advice and mentorships online, right? It could be anything. Maybe you're really good at relationships. Maybe you've gone through loads of relationships. You understand what works in relationships, or whatever it is, right? Just make sure that it's something that is valuable, something that you have proof of it working, and something that you know you can actively teach. And when you can do that, then this is a part to start your YouTube channel, even if you have nothing else going on, even if it's just something you do on the side, even if it's something you've never even thought about doing, as long as you have proof. And again, it doesn't have to be you that has the proof that this works. Someone else could be actively selling exactly what you do. And even if they don't, right, it's still something I would definitely consider, because maybe there is a gap within that market. You just have to go out and do your research and make sure that enough people are actively wanting what you are good at, which is probably a thing most people review now. This is essentially step number one, is just having something to sell, having something that people are going to pay for, and having some sort of expertise within that field. For example, for us, we do YouTube and we help you take this exact skill that you can sell and make sure you actually sell it on YouTube and help you guide you across that journey. So if you do have a skill that you actually need help with, you can book on a call down below and we can see if we can help you sell that skill. Now, the second part to this is, now that we have the skill, how do we actually sell it on YouTube? How are we going to go onto YouTube and sell this thing, right? So what a lot of people don't understand, or maybe they do and I'm just wrong, is that YouTube is the second largest search engine in the entire world, and it's straight after Google, and it's actually connected to Google. So YouTube videos are also ranking within Google, and people are going to be actively searching questions to the exact problem that you help them with. So the whole goal of YouTube is to make sure that you show up when these people are actively searching but their problems, right? That is essentially the entire goal of YouTube, right? You're going to get, depending on how big your thing is, you're going to get thousands and thousands and thousands of people actively searching for this thing. So how do we actually get you and your service to appear in front of these people? The first thing you have to be, and we're going to call these your ICPs, but we prefer to call them more your idle viewers, because your ICP is going to be a slight difference to your ICP to your idle viewers. So when it comes to your idle viewers, what are they searching, right? What are they actively searching? What exact questions do they have? And this is something that you might have to do research on. If you already are in business and you are actively selling this thing, then I'd recommend to just go through your last 10 to 20 sales calls and see what questions they are asking, what problems they are struggling with, what do they need help exactly. And maybe you're not very experienced, maybe you don't have sales calls. So what you can do is you can conduct interviews, essentially ask people, right? Just go around and ask people that would be your idle viewers, that would be your idle clients, what are they struggling with? Or another way to do it is just watch other videos. I don't know why I put an E at the end there, but anyways, watch videos, and specifically podcasts where people are talking about the exact thing they help, because there probably is one or two podcasts out there with the exact thing they help with. And the whole goal of this is to just really figure out and really dial in, what are they searching? What is your idle viewer actually searching on YouTube? Because you can go out there and you can make content and you can record videos and just post it out there and just hope it reaches the right people, but without this initial research, then you're just going to struggle. Same way if you're doing any sort of outreach or trying to sell anything, right? Whether you're selling on the street, whether you're selling it to your local market, whether you're selling it to the richest people in the world, you're going to understand them people. You're going to understand what their problems are, and you're going to understand how to actively reach them. And it's the same thing with YouTube. So you have to do this research. Because one thing you need to understand with YouTube, which is very important, because everyone comes on YouTube and thinks it's all about views, but 100 of the right people, right, our exact viewers, is much more valuable to make money than a 10,000, 100,000 random viewers, right? So we have to target these people, especially if you're starting a brand new channel, especially if you're a smaller channel. So you might see some of my videos where they're getting like 20, 30, 40 views, but they're super targeted. So the only people that are going to be watching those videos are the people that are actively interested in what you are selling, right? Which is what makes this so powerful. So now you're probably thinking, all right, cool, I understand. I have to reach the people that are actively searching my thing, but how do I do that? And that is a great question, and it's something we're going to get into right now. And by the way, I have other videos on this channel that go into this, and I actually go and do this actively, showing you how to do this. But for this one, we're just going to talk about how we do it, right? So the first way, and the most obvious way that you're going to do this, by the way, this is once you have these questions, right? Once you've answered the question of what exactly are they searching, what are their pain points, and what are they struggling with, right? So once you have that, and you're going to have essentially a long list of things that you can actively go and do research on. So this is your list, what we call list of pain points. Right, so you've got your list of pain points, right? So now you're going to take this list, and there's two types of research that you can do. And there's multiple ways, but there's two main ones that we use. And number one is just going to be on YouTube itself, right? But it's not as simple as go on YouTube, search some stuff in, and see what pops up. There's a few things that I'll do, and the number one tip that I'll give you here is to make a brand new account to do this research. And the reason being, if you start doing research on YouTube on your own account, YouTube is going to give you videos that you have already watched, people you've already watched. It's going to be very adjusted to you. You need a completely fresh algorithm that has no bias to what you've watched before, which is why I always recommend a brand new account. You can go incognito, but the reason we recommend a brand new account, which is something we're going to get into in a second, and which is not in an incognito tab, is because we're going to use something which is very important, which is called vidIQ. Because what vidIQ is going to give you, is going to give you certain stats that YouTube itself does not give you, and most importantly, the outlier stats. So an outlier, for those who don't know, is essentially an anomaly. So when one specific video outperforms the average on that channel. So if the average videos is 10, and the average views on a video is 10, and then that channel, that a specific video gets 1,000 views, that is a massive outlier, because it's way higher than the average views that channel actively gets. So it gives that information. It also gives you things like views per hour. And I apologize for that handwriting and the wrong spelling. And essentially what that gives you is, it shows you whether the video is still actively getting views, which can be very important. And those are the two main things. It also has multiple other features which we don't need to get into right now. But essentially, once you do have this brand new account, right, and you are starting to do your research on YouTube, sorry, all you want to do is just simply start typing, I don't know what is wrong with me today, typing these right, this list of pain points, start typing these into YouTube. And essentially the reason what you're doing that for is because now you're starting to find these pain points, and you're going to start seeing videos that have performed in the past really well, and you just want to start collecting a library of these videos. So, you know, open up a Google Doc, a Notion page, whatever you prefer to use, a notepad, and start noting down and jolting, and probably not a notepad, because the idea you want to keep links to these videos, and start boxing these videos in different specific topics. So each of these each of these pain points are going to be specific topics. So you want to start bucketing videos of that topic within here. And the reason I say to use vidIQ is because then again, you can check for these outliers, you can check for the videos that are getting good views per hour, and it's going to give you indications of very good videos. And then what you want to do is you're just essentially, is you're just essentially using these to take inspirations to make your own videos. And by the way, this is something that is not going to take you 5 minutes. I'm just going to type in some things into YouTube. If you want to do this properly, this can take you hours, right? Many hours to build up this really good catalog of videos that are going to perform well. And the more in depth you go, the better you're going to get. Now, I wouldn't recommend you to just search it in and see what comes up first, right? You want to click on these videos and you start looking at the suggested videos, and then you click on that one. There's going to be more suggested videos around a similar topic. Then you read the suggested videos, you find outliers there, you open that up, you do the same, you open that up, you do the same, you open that up, you do the same, you open that up, you do the same. And you do these for all these topics. And it's going to give you so many ideas that you probably wouldn't have just thought of in your head. And not just that, but it's also going to give you title concepts. It's also going to give you title concepts. It's also going to give you ideas of how to do the intro. It's also give you ideas of how to structure the scripts for that video. Because if those worked, there's a reason that those works. So your number one goal is to figure out why those videos are outliers. And then when you figure out the why, that is disgusting. When you figure out the why, you take that why and you adapt it and make it your own. Because what a lot of people do not understand about YouTube, what did I just delete? I don't know. Oh no, I just removed the thing. Well, a lot of people don't understand about YouTube. You're not selling your service, right? You are not, and I'll say that again, you are not selling the service. And you might be confused at why I say that, but the reason I say it is because people already know that this works, right? They've already seen other people do it. They've already succeeded from it. Now, I'm not here saying that you don't say that your service works. The whole goal of YouTube is not to sell your service, but it is indeed to sell you. Why you? Why should they come and work with you? What have you done that means that they should come and work with you? Why should they pick you to get results? Because I guarantee you there are so many other people making very similar content to you, selling a very similar service, unless it's extremely unique and it's a service that not many people have heard or thought about. And then maybe you can, actually start selling your service and thinking about ways to sell your actual service and convince people that this is the service that they need. But a lot of the time, these people already know. That's why they're actively searching these things, because they know that these things work. So the whole goal is to sell you, right? Why you? And it doesn't just have to be through your proven skills, through your proven achievements, through the people that you worked with. It can just be your character. Maybe just people just like the way you are. Maybe you're a person that people want to actively communicate with and actively talk to and actively work with. And if you have that, plus a really good service and results on top of that, you're simply going to win. For example, we have our client Juan Taylor, who does cold email. And if you know anything about cold email, you know that YouTube is extremely saturated with cold email, people selling cold email. But the goal is not to sell cold email. We now sell, he is extremely focused on video outreach. We focus on that because a lot of people are focused on just cold email, but not specifically on something like video outreach. And now he's essentially dominating all the searches for anything related to video or Loom outreach. And he also has incredible results. He's been doing this for multiple years. So it's a very easy to sell. And we could be doing generic cold email video. Here's what works with cold email. Here's the certain things that I've done, but we have to sell it on you. And there's multiple ways to sell it on you. And this is just for you to go away and figure out, right? Go away, fill out some sort of, in-depth questionnaire about yourself, the things you've done, how you've grown up, what experiences you have, and start to plug these into your actual videos. And that is how you're going to see the best results. Maybe you're extremely a good expert in one specific field of that service. So focus on that. If that's the thing you're good at, that's the thing that's going to naturally sell. So hopefully that will make sense. And we've gone through a lot right now. We've gone through a lot. So again, number one is to have a skill, something that people will actively pay for, something that is proven to work, something that people know works, and that's the thing you're going to make YouTube videos on. And then once you have that thing, then you have to actively go and figure out what exactly people are searching. Do a lot of market research. Once you have that information, then you have to actively go on YouTube and search this into YouTube and see what's working. Now, the one thing we didn't really get into, which we'll get onto now, is going to be which we slightly briefly mentioned, which is vidIQ. Now, whilst I recommend to get the vidIQ extension on YouTube, vidIQ is pretty good at finding specific keywords that people are searching, because when you go on vidIQ and there's a bit on there that's specifically for keywords, and I'll pop up a screenshot on here now. It's, you know what, I will just bring it up again, keywords, and let's just go for, look at that, how to grow on YouTube. And what you're going to see here is the search volume that it gets every single month and the sort of competition level. Now, this is not always accurate, right? It's not always going to be correct, but it gives you a very, 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 very good indication of how active something is searching, and more important, the competition level. You want this to be as low as possible, right? Extremely, extremely low. So, for example, we have someone called Nolan Molt, whoever that is, and he's getting 108,000 monthly searches. Maybe I should know who that is, right? But as you can see, the competition is very, very, very low. So that means that this is a potential really good keyword, and this is just a random example. I'm not saying this is how easy it is, but then you want to start building up a catalog of these exact keywords that you can go and now optimize specific videos around, because when you can optimize those videos around specific keywords that are being highly searched but have very low competition, then you'll have a very high chance that if optimized properly, your videos are going to rank for those keywords. So when people are searching those videos into YouTube, that you are the one that is actively popping up for it. And I hope that makes sense. And that is essentially the goal, to find these keywords, to also find that proof that this essentially works on YouTube by finding outliers around the keywords and then optimizing your specific videos around these keywords. So hopefully that all makes sense. Now, if you need help doing all of this, like if you do not want to go to the effort of doing all this yourself, and you have a proven method, a proven service, a proven skill that you know you can actively sell, or trying to already actively sell through YouTube, but you're not seeing the results, then book a call down below and we can help you through all of this. Now, just like anything else business related, nothing works if you do not have a proper funnel. And by the way, I'm not going to go into this, and I don't even know if this is free. This is either 3 or 4, right? Step 3 or 4, whatever. And we're not going to make this super complicated, right? But we're going to start, essentially, a lot of people, when it comes to YouTube funnels, they only think about when someone was already watching the video, or once they finish the video, what next, right? But the YouTube funnel starts all the way from the very single first impression that you get from that person. So the very first thing that person's going to see, and this is, I don't know the exact stat, but I'm going to say 9 out of 10 people, the first thing that they are going to see is your thumbnail. That's meant to be. Is going to be your thumbnail. So you have to do work on this thumbnail. You have to make sure that the thumbnail is something that people are first of all going to pay attention to, something that people are going to click, something that is enticing. And within that thumbnail, you're obviously going to also have your title. Now, your title has to work in accordance with your thumbnail. People are not actually going to see the thumbnail first. They're going to get intrigued because it's going to build their curiosity, because as the goal of the thumbnail is to build... horrible spelling today. Is to build that curiosity. And then once you build that curiosity and they're intrigued, then they're going to read the title, and then the title should make them want to watch. And it should create what we call, or what everyone calls, FOMO, the fear of missing out. So once they see your thumbnail, they then read your title because you build that curiosity. Then the thumbnail and the title work together to create a sense of FOMO. And if they don't click on it, if they don't watch, they feel like they're missing out. Now, they might not watch it there and then, but at least what you want to do is to save it to a watch later playlist. They come back and they watch it later, or whatever. Now, that is essentially step number 1, is to actually get them to watch your video when they see your thumbnail. Step number 2 is to keep them watching. And the first way to keep them watching is with the intro. And a lot of people think the intro is not very important, but the intro is extremely important. Those first 5-10 seconds is extremely important, and then also that first 30 seconds is extremely important to make them want to stay and watch the video. And there's a few things that we always have to put within our intro. The very first number 1 thing is to confirm. And what do I mean by confirm? Is to confirm that they've clicked on the correct video. If you have a video titled and packaged in a certain way, and when the video starts, you're talking about something completely different, completely irrelevant, people are simply going to click away because they think that they've been clickbaited, right? So if you have a video and you're pretending that you're meeting or talking to this person in that video, and then they click on it and they see it's just you and it's not this really famous big person that they all admire and like, they're just going to click off, right? So the first thing you have to do is confirm the video. And a lot of the time you can just repeat the title, right? Just repeat what the title is, because at least then they know that they've clicked on the right video. Step number 2 is to already start, as we mentioned before, you already want to start selling on why you. So this could be some sort of result, this can be some sort of proof, this can be some sort of experience line. And by the way, this doesn't have to be in this exact order. I always recommend to start with this first, but this next bit, it doesn't have to be in this exact order. But essentially, you confirm that they clicked on the right video, you give them a reason why they should listen to you, and then number 3, you want to give them a reason why they should stay and watch that video. Right? Why should they spend the next 15, 20, 30, 40, an hour, 2 hours with you, right? Because people's time is valuable nowadays, and if they feel like their time's not going to be worth it staying there, they are just going to click off. So you have to confirm that they've clicked on the right video, number 1, because as soon as they feel like they clicked on the wrong video, they'll just go to the next one. And then you have to either give them a reason to stay and why they should listen to you, right? And once you can master this in your intro, you're going to see a lot better retention graphs, and you're going to see a lot more people staying and watching throughout the whole thing. Now, that's not enough, because once they know how they can stay, if your first, couple of minutes, first 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes is rubbish, they're just not going to stay. So you have to make sure that the whole video, the body of the video, wow, is good. And the way to make this good, the way to keep them there, is to simply just keep giving value. Keep giving them value, keep giving them a reason to stay. And a lot of the time you can do this also what people call open loops, where it's like, I've told you this now, but if you don't do this, then if you don't do what I'm going to talk about next, then this is irrelevant. So it's like, oh, okay, I need to know what happens next. And there's multiple ways to word that, and that's something you can go away and think about. But if they feel like there's always something that they need to happen that's coming up next, and they will stay and watch. But the most important thing is keep giving them value. If they're watching your videos and they're getting nothing out of it in the first minute, they're again going to click off. So give them value, and then you want to transition to the outro, right? And the outro is very important to, essentially, for one particular reason, to give them very clear next steps, right? That is the whole goal of the outro. Give them very clear next steps of what they need to do next. Now, you have to be very careful when going from the body to the outro that you do not make it seem like the video is ending. Right? People might know, they might see the time, and they might be like, oh, this video is about to end, let me go click on something else. But if you start with, oh, hopefully this video was useful to you, they're instantly going to find something else to watch, they're instantly going to click off. So you want to essentially transition from the body to the outro in a very smooth way, where it doesn't even feel like the video's ending, to then give them this clear next step. Now, this clear next step might be completely different to everyone, right? This clear next step might be, to book a call, it might be to join a newsletter, it might be to join a community, it might be to contact you, it might be to DM you, it might be to anything. Right, whatever it is, to transition them from one point in where they are in the video to take the next step to essentially work with you. And this could be a very, very small ask, it could be a massive ask, it could be whatever, right? It could always essentially even direct them to already buy something from you, right? So that's for you to find out, and for every channel is different, and for whatever service you're different, and whoever you're targeting is different. But that is step number 1, right? To send them to what you are selling. Now, number 2, and something that a lot of people seem to miss out, but incredibly important for specifically YouTube and keeping YouTube to push out your content to those people every single time, is you want a call to action to another video. A video that directly aligns with what you have spoken about in the video. A video that is going to give them more value. A video that they're going to, again, that same FOMO that they felt here at the start of the video, right? You want them to feel at the end here again, because once they do that, they're then going to go and watch another video. And the more time that person spends with you, the more likely they are to actually buy from you. So give them a reason to go watch another video. And that could be in a sense of, now that you know this step of the process, it doesn't really matter because you have to understand this first. So if you want to understand this first, before using this, go to watch this video on screen now, right? Very broad, very non-specific there. But try to be specific, try to make them understand. If they don't go to take the next step, then this is extremely not valuable. Does that make sense? But anyways, this kind of leads us to our next point, and the next point in the funnel, which is here, right? So they've gone through the video, they've clicked on your video, they've watched your video, they're either now convinced to buy or they're going to go watch another video, which at the end of the day, right, even if they go to watch another video, they're going to always end up at this point back here. So this point is extremely important, and it's where the typical, where people start thinking about funnel comes in. But again, the funnel is irrelevant at this point if none of this is done. So this is where people start thinking about funnels when it comes to YouTube, but you need to think of it all the way from the start here, and maybe even before that, about how your whole channel looks, what you're selling exactly. So, but anyways, it starts with there, but this is where people usually think about the funnel. But essentially, when they have here, and I'm not going to give you a specific place on what's in. There's no best place. It depends on what works with you. It could be to a VSL, which essentially YouTube is just a massive catalog of VSLs. It could be to a newsletter, right? Wow, I'm not on it today. It could be to literally selling them something, right? To buy, right? It could be to buy something. It could be to book a call. It could be to a wait list, right? There's so many places that you can send them, and this all depends on what works best for you. And by the way, you don't just want to leave this all the way to the end. When you are doing your body, right, at this point here, you also want to sell. I don't know why I did that like that, right? You want to sell, and when I say sell, just a very, very, very subtle, simple CTA, right? Because it's going to be a bit more direct when you come to the end here, but you want to give them a very subtle CTA that gets there, because as you all know, or maybe not, I don't know, but retention graphs on YouTube typically look something like this, and then they might stay on watch, and they're going to dip, and then they're going to dip there at the end, right? Not always, but they could look like that. They can look very much like this, right? They can dip like that if your intro is not great, right? Whatever it is, but the whole point is towards the end it will all start dipping down. So we have to make sure that we are given some sort of CTA at some point within the video to make sure we're capturing as many people as we possibly can, right? Rather than waiting until the end here. And then when it comes to all of this, it just depends on how good all of this is. How good, right? Some people have crappy websites, some people have a crappy VSL, some people have crappy newsletters, some people have a very annoying book a call page, right? So you have to make sure wherever you take them, it's actually good. How good that is depends if they're going to book it. But a lot of the time, because they have come from YouTube, they are likely going to take the next step. Now, at some point, all of that, my camera decided to die. I don't know when it died. I don't know why it died, because it's plugged in, but it died. So you wasn't able to see my face for a little bit, but hopefully you got all that value. But anyways, we're going to go on to now a bit that is probably the most important out of all of this. And to be honest, what I'm going on to now, if none of this matters, we could put this all into one big, massive box, right? Because none of this matters if we're not going to do what I'm going to talk about now. Which, very simply, is I hope I spelled that right, because we're very biased if I didn't. None of this matters if you're not consistent, right? YouTube is not a game where, and I call it a game, I call everything a game, life is a game, because it's just a bunch of trial and error. But YouTube is a game where if you're not consistent, it is not going to work. Your first, maybe even your second, maybe even your third, maybe your fourth, maybe your fifth, maybe your sixth, maybe your seventh, maybe your eighth, maybe your ninth, maybe your 10th, maybe your 50th video might not work, right? You might not get great results. And what will happen, you'll slowly see it start to slowly, maybe you have a little ramp up there, maybe you have another little ramp up there, and then it will start to do this. And This can happen for a variety of reasons. Maybe you've just done enough reps with YouTube where now YouTube trusts you enough to push your video out. Maybe you just found a specific video. You figured out what worked at these points, so then you've kind of just, replicated it and, then done that here and then it just done that. Maybe you just tried something new. Maybe you've switched up your content completely and people just resonate with it a lot more. Maybe you just learned a lot of things and then you finally start implementing all that into one video. Whatever it is, right? YouTube is not going to be a thing where you post and you get just that happens, right? And this is your first video. It's going to be a lot harder and a lot tougher than that. And yes, there is strategies and things you can implement which will make those results come quicker. Pause. But if you are not consistent, if you do not stick to just doing multiple videos and just learning and 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 learning until you get to a point where it's here, or until you figure out what works here and what works here, and I'm going to rub this out because that's just not how it works, then you will never ever 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 get results. And I can tell you this, not because it's what I do or not because it's what I sell, but YouTube, once those results come in, they're the best results you're going to possibly get from people that want to work with you. They're the best business results you're going to get because people are going to be very, very high intent. Meaning that they've watched your videos, they trust you, they like you, they know you, they essentially want to work with you. Then it's just about figuring out logistics and seeing if you're a good fit. So these are people that are going to be very, very high intent. And once you get to a point where your channel is here and it's just constantly growing, I don't know why I did that, then this is essentially the only channel you could probably rely on for the rest of your life because it's going to continuously bring in leads. Yes, you can still do outreach. Yes, you can still try to approach people, do whatever other methods. But when you get to this point where your leads are constantly coming to you, then you are going to see enough results for that to run your business. It's just about if you're willing to put in the work and wait a few months, a few even years if you're doing it by yourself to see these results. But it's going to be the best results you're going to get, but you have to stay consistent, and I can't urge that enough. Do not look at it as 4 videos and all those 4 videos flop so YouTube doesn't work. Do not look at 8 videos, 12 videos, 16 videos, because you might make 50, 100 videos and then finally one works and you finger it and it clicks in your head, this is what works, and you do those for your 101, 102nd, 103rd, 104th, 105th, and you're just going to keep getting results and results and results and results and results, and your business is going to exponentially grow from there. Now, for some people, they don't get these little things. This is literally just a case of slowly start building from 0 to whatever that number is up there. And along the way, you're going to learn things and you're going to figure out things, and that's just how it works. But you have to stay patient, you have to stay consistent with YouTube. But when you do, it's going to bring you the best possible results. But just for context, when we do work with business, here's the sort of average results that we do see. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you right now. If you don't know what that is a big fat 0, because most likely within month 1 we will not see 0. And by the way, this is if you are a brand new channel. If you have a channel that you've been running for a little bit already, and you already have a consistent amount of viewers and it's doing okay, we will see instant results if you come and implement our systems. In month 1, you will probably see a big fat of 0 results, but that's completely fine because within this first month, we've been essentially teaching YouTube who our audience is, what we do, who we help, what our service is. YouTube's understanding and has tested us with different audiences. They know now who to push us to. And essentially, the whole month of YouTube, first month, is to be super specific about what we do, super specific about the people that we help, and super specific and consistent on those video topics, right? Keeping the same video topics. Now, we move into month 2. We might start seeing a bit better results. And by the way, this is I'm doing this through booked calls because the majority of the people that I work with are focused on getting more booked calls. So then we might see in month 2, we might see anywhere between 0 to 10. And we might still, by the way, we might still see this big fat 0 in month 2. But we could probably see anywhere between 0 to 10 booked calls within that second month. just because now we're starting to be pushed out a bit more to other people. And by the way, these 10 booked calls, 5, 2, 3, 1, whatever, how many book calls you book, you could probably make your money, a good amount of money from these booked calls, considering you're doing a high ticket, because they're going to be, as I mentioned earlier, high intent. And in month 3, you could be looking at, anywhere between 20, 10, 0 again, by the way, to 30. And these are very rough numbers. These change. And as I said, these are very high intent. So even if you are closing just 1% of these, whatever your high ticket offer is, or just ticket offer is, whether it's 1,000, whether it's 10,000, 5,000, 50,000, 100,000, wherever it is, right? Whatever your ticket offer is, you should be making your money from then. And then when we look at month 3 onwards, again, going back to booked calls, you could be looking at anywhere 10 to 40, until we can say like a year, 2 years down the line, then that could be way more. But at that point, you would have made way more than enough money to even care about that. But that's kind of how it works. And again, I can't stress how much or how important this. I've lost it. This is, right? I'm trying to highlight it here. Important, right? Whatever has to get into your head to show you how important consistency is. That is the number one thing, right? Consistency plus a good strategy will get you results. And if you want help with both, really, if you want help to stay consistent, so you're only spending maybe a couple hours a month on YouTube and we handle the rest, it also means you have the best possible strategy to get the best possible results from YouTube as soon as possible, then book a call down below and we can walk you through exactly what we do, exactly how we can help you, and you can ask me any questions you may have as well, and we can move from there. So if that sounds good, just book a call. If you want to go and watch another video that breaks this down in even more detail, more specifically, right, the whole research pitch and how to find exactly what your audience is searching, which essentially is step number 1, then I recommend to watch the video on screen next, and then you can watch that first, get more questions, and then book a call, whatever works for you. I'll see you there. Peace.